Hello and welcome to today's episode of Health University, where we talk all things fertility, all things women's reproductive health. And today I'm going to introduce to you a very special woman. Lindsay Goodwin is a colleague and now a new friend. And she's bringing to the story today, to the conversation today, something that is so unique. So let me begin by reading her bio, and then I will we'll just dive right in. Okay. So welcome, Lindsay. Lindsay Goodwin is a trusted pioneering authority in reproductive medicine and fertility support. Her unique combination of skills, including being a licensed health provider, a board certified herbalist, and certified in hypnotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming called NLP, trauma healing, a born intuitive medium, and a trained medical intuitive, these set her apart in the field. After her own near-death experience, she began receiving deeper messages from spirit babies, known as future children, and has since guided hundreds of them to their parents. This unique spiritual approach to fertility support is why she is known as a spiritual fertility and spirit baby medium. She's also a teacher, a published author, a speaker, and the host of her own two radio shows, Fertile Frequencies and Intuitive Mind Lab Radio. So welcome, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us today. And this is going to be a very rich conversation. I'm really looking forward to learning more about NLP, about your near-death experience, about spirit babies. So let's dive right in, shall we?
Yes, absolutely. Well, Susan, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so looking forward to this rich conversation. So first, let's talk a bit about this near-death experience because it seems as though this is what's catapulted a lot of what you now have as your offerings, your unique offerings.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you stated, I'm a born intuitive medium. So, what that essentially means is that since a child, I've been seeing energies as well as hearing people's thoughts. It's not in a weird way. It's just like you kind of know things. So that's the only way I can really explain it. And so for a long time, I lost that way. Like many of us, our subconscious mind starts forming at about the age of 7. And so that's when we kind of start getting into these patterns and these limiting beliefs that we're going to talk about in a second. And so then I just all of a sudden started taking a lot of interest in my late 30s in spirituality, mindfulness, consciousness. So I was already awakening. And then this happened where I had the near death experience. So it's like it, like you said, catapulted me back into, well, I say back into what I was
Mhm.
born into this world
Yeah.
to be. And I really wasn't paying attention. And we'll talk more about that with NLP and the subconscious mind and fertility, because fertility journeys are really self-discovery journeys. And I'll talk more about what that, yeah, I'm sure you totally understand, Susan. And so this was what this was, is it was pushing me back into what I'm here to do, what I'm here to create and help people with, other souls on this planet,
Mhm.
including the spirit babies.
Mhm.
And so what had happened is at the time I was seeing my acupuncture clients out of a spa in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for most of my life. And I walked in the door, and this guy followed me in. Two guys, actually. One was 12, probably. I don't know their exact age. And the other one was about 15. And this was gang related. And so they followed me in and they put a gun to my back. And they proceeded to rob the place. And so I had a completely out of body experience. I was seeing this gold light that was protecting everybody. I was met by my grandparents as well as
Mhm.
one of my dear friends who is now a spirit guide of mine. And he had just transitioned over into spirit a few months before this had happened. And so they were there. And it's interesting because you don't think about, your family. You don't think about, I have at the time my dog, who is my soul dog. I did not think about him. I did not think about my mom or my siblings. It was purely what I was experiencing in that moment. And it was absolute sheer terror because you think, am I going to make it out of this? Am I going to make it out of this? But at the same time, it was this beautiful, sort of interesting experience because I wasn't in my body. I
Yeah,
was
it
out.
sounds like a huge surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a really great
Yeah.
word
Yeah.
to describe it. And then I was very, after that, I started waking up to a lot of things. My visions got really strong. I knew things. I had very vivid dreams. And then the spirit baby started coming in.
Yeah,
And
let's
I
hear about
was,
this. Yeah, wow.
yeah, I was met by what I call spirit baby, spirit guide keepers. So they essentially are like the protective protectors of the babies coming into the physical reality, our 3D reality. And so they would be coming to me, and it was different spirit guides, and they would be with these little babies, and I would see them in dreams and in visions. And one lady said to me, she looked like a Chinese woman. She said to me at one time, she said, "You have to wake up. You have to stop acting like this is not part of your purpose
Mm,
because you're here to help bring in these children into their physical bodies." And so that's really where it came from. And now I am writing a book on the experience. It is called The Fertile Mind and Spirit Babies. So this is the intersection of our mind and how that connects to spirit. And I do talk about spirit babies and my journey as well, just to help people to understand that you're not alone, and your consciousness is infinite, and it's you're having a temporary human experience.
right.
So
And when you say fertile mind, the word mind, I'm hearing consciousness,
yes,
that it is always existing and
yes,
it just in a place and maybe time that is just not visible to our 3D eye.
yes,
Yeah, wow. So
absolutely.
how does this experience and this gift
Mhm.
relate to neuro-linguistic programming?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So it just started happening. I started taking this deep, I was doing it before the near-death experience happened, but not to the level of how I'm in this now.
Mhm.
And as a child, I actually always said that I wanted to be a brain surgeon or a psychologist. So now thinking back about, I was coded into this world to do what I'm doing, and I lost my way for a long time. So I started taking a lot of classes, reading a lot of books, getting certifications, and just leading myself into consciousness. And what you said, that the mind, it's everything. We're all connected. We're not separate from each other, and consciousness is everything. It's in everything, including our cells.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting when we start looking at this greater, bigger picture of how everything is connected, and that fascinates me. And that's really why I do what I do, because you can't, even with hormones, you can't say that, oh, well, that doesn't have anything to do with what the mind is doing. The central nervous system, we know that through science that absolutely they are connected. So this is all consciousness. Every cell in your body is consciousness. Everything in this entire existence is consciousness.
And so, am I correct in presuming or interpreting then that neuro-linguistic programming is a method of accessing consciousness?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So neuro-linguistic programming is three steps. So you've got neuro, which is the nervous system. Then you've got linguistic, which is how you're communicating. And then you've got programming, which is your programming essentially. So the programming part could be on the side of that you have programming, like in your subconscious mind, of thoughts you're not even aware of, where 90% of our thoughts are coming from what I call an underlying layer of unconscious. You don't really know what's in there. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and imaginary. So when we start to reprogram it with the desired outcome of what we want, which is that programming part, then we start to manifest. Manifestation is a part of this into our reality, what it is that we're looking for. And a lot of times, especially listeners listening to this, is health and fertility and homeostasis and balance. And so these tools can be used in sales. They're used, the FBI uses them. You can read people's body language, which can be very helpful in a fertility journey, because people may not even know that they have certain patterns. And me, as an NLP therapist, I can go in and I can really start to read body language of why they're doing certain things. Like, example, if someone has a blocked throat chakra, they might be itching their throat a lot, or when you talk about certain things, they might touch their throat. So there's things that you can really start to see that people are doing based on where they've got stuck sort of emotional energy.
That's interesting. And of course, as a fellow Chinese medicine practitioner, we also, listened for tone and sound. And are they sighing? Are they clearing their throats? Do they sound almost manic or do they sound like they're moaning? So you're blending, it sounds like, weaving together some of the diagnostic observational skills of Chinese medicine with this NLP structure. Is that
Yes,
safe to say?
absolutely. I think of it, the work that I do is like this, it's like this masterpiece, like all these different pieces and philosophies coming together. And my end goal is to help people just to get them where they need to be. And I use a lot of different tools and
Yeah.
philosophies. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're all the same, right? If consciousness is all
It
one, these
is.
tools are just different languages, if you will, to get to the heart of the matter.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
is it possible, and this might be because I'm going a little off script here, but I'm so
It's
curious,
okay.
is it possible to describe, a patient, someone walks in the door, and they're struggling with infertility, maybe they're going through IVF, maybe they're not ready for that yet. How do you begin this sequence that you apply to helping
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's important to meet people where they're at.
Hmm.
Sure that that's absolutely what you're doing in your practice as well. That's very important. Definitely a lot of patience. I feel that not everyone's going to be ready for this work. That's very powerful to remember because when we are working with the subconscious mind, we have to remember that you have to be a willing participant.
Hmm.
So sometimes people, they are not ready to let things go. And I know that sounds crazy to think about because we say, okay, I don't want this anymore. But then your energy is telling the universe something different or telling your body something different. So this is where, if you are a willing participant, we can really get in and figure out where these blocks are in the subconscious mind. If you're willing to work on it, well, then we use tools to be able to peel those layers back to clear those patterns so that you can be free of them. Okay. But again, we have to be a willing participant. So, how would this look? Well, definitely figuring out if somebody is a right candidate for working together. I think that that's really powerful. And the next step would be being very patient with them. Patience is really powerful because people are going to fall back and forth. They're going to go back into old patterns and they're going to be frustrated about it. And why is this happening? Well, again, if you're a willing participant, then we're going to get through it. You're still
Yes.
willing to get through it. So we're going to get through it. So that is really, really powerful. But definitely things like figuring out, asking them a series of questions. I have an interview where we go through a series of questions. The first session that I would do with someone would be similar to what we do with acupuncture, where
Mhm.
we're figuring out their medical history, asking them emotional questions, asking them what's going on. And so this would be the same as well as goals. Goals are really important.
Mhm.
And so, and then I look at the hormones too, even though I might be somebody just might be interested in mindset, subconscious mind work. I'm still looking at their hormones as well because that shows you where, okay, does this person or they have a lot of anxiety?
Mhm.
Where is the anxiety stemming from? Because as
Mhm.
we know that AMH, FSH, progesterone, all of those are very affected by
Mhm.
the stress. The whole
Mhm.
endocrine system is. And I think it's really powerful to remember our mind is inside of our bodies. So we have to know, like, and the spine connects to everything, and the brain is connected to that. So, and if we think of Chinese medicine, for example, the kidney energy, the emotion of that is fear. And so people have a lot of low back pain as well as fertility obstacles. I do not like the word infertility. So I say fertility obstacles because I
Mhm.
believe most people actually cannot get pregnant.
Yes,
It's just
I say
very
fertility challenge. Hmm.
Yes, or that too. It's just
Uh-huh.
we're
Yeah.
restructuring.
Yeah.
We're figuring out what needs
And
to work.
that's part, again, being languaging beings, how we language this moment in time, this struggle, kind of predicts the outcome, if you
Mhm.
will. If we're identifying with the label of infertility, and that someone else needs to fix us because we're broken, then it's not as though it's an impossible situation, but it's not the true, complete healing that we are seeking and that got us into this fertility struggle in the first place. Thank you for listening to this episode of Health University. We always strive to find ways to improve our support of you. Please connect with us for a fertility assessment call at the link below, healthuniversity.co, note not .com, /your fertile health call. We'd love to learn a bit about you and share our resources. Now, let's resume our conversation in today's episode. So you say the body is always listening to the mind, and I think that that was what you were just kind of referencing when you talk about hormones. But can you give examples, like if you like, oh, this one patient comes directly to my mind when I say the body's listening to the mind. What might that look like so that the listening audience, viewing audience can say, oh, that makes sense to me now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that the most important part of this is getting people to a place where they realize they're powerful,
Yes.
and are in control of their body. Okay. Um, And that can take some time. It can take some time to trust, especially when you've been in a place of you've had letdown after letdown, you've had loss, you've had miscarriages, even stillborn, you've had
Mhm.
loss.
Mhm.
And maybe your own mother had loss. I've had a lot of clients over the years that their own mother had a lot of birth loss. And so that created some sort of energetic block within their own energy field.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's that would be the first step. Now, as far as stories go, I have seen so much positive. I could go on and on about stories, but
Yeah.
if just talking about hormones, that when someone works with me for say 3 to 4 months and we really start working on their mindset and figuring out where they've got subconscious blocks, energy blocks, those hormones change.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people have just crazy low AMH. And then we do this work, this mind body work, and their AMH goes up. The doctors are looking at them like, what have you been doing?
Mm.
Well, I've been doing this mind body work and it's takes such a huge impact on my egg qualities. So, it's pretty amazing when we start realizing that our energy is driving everything because your
Yeah.
body's responding to that.
Yeah, and because our mind is a fuel source, a food source. So we talk about nutrition and supplementation and hydration and all of that, but we don't often talk about what are we feeding our cells and ourselves with our conscious or subconscious talk. So
Mhm.
how does one recognize the subconscious and start having a new conversation, if you will, with the subconscious so as to make some of these fundamental changes in one's body?
Yeah, absolutely. Awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to have awareness. It's starting to pay attention to what your body is doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
what I touched on earlier about low back pain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the kidney energy. So the
Mm-hmm.
kidney energy is related to fear. If you have a lot of digestive issues, are you worrying a lot?
Mm-hmm.
So start thinking about things like that as well as the thyroid. The
Mm-hmm.
thyroid is relating to how am I communicating? Am I communicating with myself in a way that I want to? Am I communicating self-love?
Mm-hmm.
Am I being too hard on myself? So
Mm-hmm.
we start to see through medical intuition and Chinese medicine that the body starts to manifest disease, dis-ease in the body based on different emotions that we have. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot what the question was.
Oh,
It
it
goes
was
up
kind of like
into
how do we spelunk our way down into subconscious to sort of begin
yes.
the new conversation with subconscious so that it becomes our new lens of consciousness. But
Yeah.
and you did answer it because you said it's awareness. So the how to, I would imagine then, is taking the time, like morning meditation, evening meditation, guided imagery, something like that, where we're resourcing, refueling ourselves with this new conversation so that we're replacing some of these perhaps old reels of conversation that really aren't true and certainly are not serving us now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's thinking about, is what I think about actually mine?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
this really how do I really know myself, or are these trained beliefs that someone else taught me?
yeah.
So it's that too.
And in our conversation that you or I had read something about chakra, right? So we have our
Right.
organ theory in Chinese medicine, and then there's another system within NLP that I admit I still don't know, but but I'm getting there. But how do you weave chakra, which is Ayurvedic, right, and or yogic, into
Mhm.
your work as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the chakras tell us about emotionally what's going on. So if someone's chakras are not balanced, and I wouldn't say that everyone that comes into my office has all their chakras not balanced. There's particular areas based on different limiting beliefs that they have, trauma that they have. Again, like what do I believe that I can actually manifest into my experience? Can I manifest and heal myself? Do
Mhm.
I believe in the acupuncture that I'm getting? Do I believe in the therapy that I'm receiving? I mean, this we see this in science with the placebo effect. And when
Mhm.
people are given they're given the real pill versus the sugar pill, that sometimes the sugar pill outperforms the one that
That's
gets the
right.
real pill
The placebo
because
effect is
yeah,
everything,
it
right?
is everything. It's all in what we believe. So,
Mhm.
um, there are emotions attached to that, and so the chakras are helpful to be able to see where people have imbalances, and so I use them more for that, uh, to know where people need help.
Mhm.
And then that's another way to use tools like NLP and hypnotherapy and subconscious mind work, as well
Mhm.
as acupuncture, to be able to see where there is imbalancing so that you can help balance that, which essentially what chakras are is energy centers, and they're
Mhm.
located in the spine, and they're spiritual centers
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
connect us to the greater grid of all that is, which you could call it universe, source, God, whatever resonates with you.
To be probably redundant, you can call it mind and consciousness because
Yeah, with that.
we have I'll speak for myself. I have a tendency to think of the mind as emanating from the brain and heart as opposed to
Mhm.
emanating from and being within the entire body. So so these these chakras, these energy sources are the same thing. It's the consciousness, it's the mind in this particular structure, if you will, or resource
Mhm.
to find like where do we need some help, because we're all, as you said, our bodies are always seeking body mind homeostasis, which means they're always going to, as we live and breathe, be subject to and the environment, internal and external. So we're looking for like where do we make these subtle corrections, and how do we make these subtle corrections, like self-talk, in order to improve, to heal.
Mhm.
You mentioned something called fertile mindset mastery. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that.
Well, fertile mindset mastery, essentially what that is pretty much everything that we're talking about. So it's
Okay.
getting you into a place where you believe that you are fertile and working through some of these limiting beliefs and some of these traumas. So that's essentially what my method is really working with people on that deeper layer to really get them to a place where they not only believe in their fertile body, but their fertile energies of all that is. Because fertility, yes, do we bring babies into the world? And people listening to this are trying to get pregnant. Most people, I'm sure, are pregnant. And so, but fertility is about creating projects. It's about a new business. It's about planting flowers. It's about nurturing. And so we use these energies for the entire experience.
Yeah.
And so once you got it, it's you're not going to go back. Once you learn something and you learn how to regulate your emotions and you learn how to really navigate in this world, not saying that you're not going to have things come in, it's just how you're responding to it versus reacting. And so once you've got that, then you're going to apply that to your entire life. So it's really mastery of your entire life, even though I
Yeah.
say fertile mindset mastery. Again, we're talking about a self-discovery journey here, and that you're learning how to master your life, not only for yourself, but also for being a parent, which is really powerful to
Thank you.
remember.
That's exactly where I was going. Yes. And I love the redefining fertility to
Mhm.
beyond baby making. I mean, we were fertile before if you're a person with ovaries and uterus, you were fertile before you had menarche. You will be fertile after menopause, because fertility is creative expression and contribution and engagement with this thing called life.
Mhm.
And so we do ourselves a disservice by siloing it to baby making.
Right.
And I love that you said it's also uh, a legacy that we pass along to our children. If we are, or our progeny, whatever they are, siblings, students that we teach, animals, the tree that we want to hug, all of these things is an expression of our fertility, and all of these things need us to be fully fertile as we can be, regardless of baby making. So
Yeah,
we really do
absolutely.
have almost like an obligation for having come into this planet saying, I'm going to do this life thing, to say, I'm also going to do it in the most fertile approach possible, expressing my most fertile self.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, Susan. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And one
Yeah.
thing I'm going to add to that,
Great.
this is a little bit down the rabbit hole, but I think maybe some people will appreciate this. So, and its encouragement is that the babies that are coming in now, the souls that are coming in now, they're very advanced in their consciousness. They don't have the same sort of trauma that they're working through like our generations. And so we have to be ready for that energy as well. We have to be ready on a body level as well as an energetic level to be their parents. And
Mm.
sometimes it takes a little bit of extra work to
Yeah.
be in a place where you can handle, and not saying that anyone's doing anything wrong or that you're not close or, that you need to try to do the perfect thing, because that's not what I'm
That's
saying at
impossible.
all. Impossible because you're already perfect.
Yeah.
It's just more about understanding that these children coming in now, that they have huge purpose, and that might be part of the reason why it's taken a little bit longer, and it's okay. It's happening for you.
I love that. I love that idea that the beings coming in are more
Mhm.
advanced, and so that we are having to up level, to elevate, to
Yeah.
meet them where they are, so that
Yeah.
we're not having them come in and kind of be mini me's, carbon copies of where we are, because
Mhm.
life must progress. And we see it everywhere, right? We see it in technology, we see it in
Yeah.
AI, we see it everywhere. But we forget sometimes, just being human, that we also must up level, elevate, progress if we want a different today, and if we want a different tomorrow. That is
Yeah.
so inspiring. Like, I feel almost a little teary about it, because it gives us hope. And then it also gives us a little bit of homework. It's like, okay, I then must do my work, which is to say, I must, do my meditation, do my loving kindness, which then translates down into the body. I must then have proper nutrition and all of that kind of thing, so that I'm not. Let me hold on one second. I had to put my do not disturb back on. It just popped off. I got distracted. But yeah, it gives us our assignment, which is part of the assignment we came in here to do in this world to do. And we're all short timers in this particular life expression, but we're also eternal timers
Yes.
in where our consciousness, our contribution to consciousness delivers for the future, for our babies, for the future. So
Yeah.
what a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation. I want to make sure that I'm not just, blathering on, and you're missing delivering key points. Is there anything else that you would want to say? Oh, but this is really so important. I just don't want to end the conversation without, touching upon this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that I want anyone listening to this to know, and you as well, Susan, is that everything is within you. It is not outside of you. And when I do energy work with my clients, I help them visualize the energy within, versus a lot of times when we do chakra healings or visualizations, we visualize that energy outside of us coming in. I don't do that. I work with people to visualize the energy coming in within them and then out and around and wrapping and protecting them. And if that is something that you can do on the daily to protect your energy, as well as help you to be elevating your frequency so that you are in a position to be in alignment with your baby and your fertility in the way that you desire it to be, then that can be really helpful for that, because it's not outside of you. And that's something that we're taught is that things are outside of us, and they're not.
Yeah,
Everything is within. And you know that from the heart energy as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. And I know that you've got a book coming out in August. Can you tell us the name of that book, and what and where we can expect to go find it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the fertile mind and spirit babies. And really, what this is, it's the intersection. I'm all about the integration of science with the spiritual side. And of course, the subconscious mind in there and how the mind is functioning, levels of consciousness. I really want people to understand that they are powerful and that you are, again, like I'd stated, in control of your own energy. You can't control other people, you can't control everything, but you can control how you're responding to things as well as responding. That's the important part here. And so that is a huge part of my message in this lifetime is really to help people to understand that they're in control. So I try to have people see both sides of the coin. I think there's people that might be skeptical about the spiritual side. And so when you can talk about science
Mm-hmm.
in there, then it brings them closer to being more curious about the spiritual side. So that's my mission, is to help people get more comfortable with these energies and realize that not everything we can prove.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anything that's ever been proven existed before it was proven.
Thank you. Thank you. I say that all the time. We are aligned, Susan.
Absolutely. This has been a retreat of a conversation, I have to say. I almost feel like I just had, went to church or something, and I'm not a church going gal, but it just it has touched my heart and my soul. And I think one thought that just popped into my mind as you were saying people might not want to align with the word spiritual. I think it's because of the word. So
Mhm.
find your own word. It's like, what is the word for you? We've said mind, we've said consciousness. What is that word for you that lets you listen to this conversation in a more embracing way? Because this conversation is for you. We are lovingly having this conversation for you, so that because we want you to uplift, elevate, expand, take agency, live your most perfect life, however that's going to unfold. So.
Yeah,
I will
absolutely.
make sure to have links to where people can reach you, Lindsay, and how they can get access to the book. But if there's anything else that you would like to say as we part, because I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time and the viewing and listening audience's time.
Absolutely. I just want all of you listening to know that your babies are on their way to you and that there's very few people in this world that truly cannot have children. And I just want you to stay in alignment with your desire and know that if you were not meant to be a parent, you wouldn't desire it. And your babies are reaching you. They're trying to get to you and they are coming. So keep going. And I know some days that's really hard. And
Mhm,
it's not about over positivity. That's not what I'm talking about. I just
mhm,
want you to put yourself first, really enjoy your life, do some creative work. Creative energy is the feminine energy, it's the fertility energy. And just know that, again, if it wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't want it, you wouldn't
mhm.
desire it. So
That's
it's,
beautiful.
yeah.
And even though sometimes it's going to be hard, um, that's life as well. The
Mhm.
parenting will sometimes be hard.
Yeah.
Aging will sometimes be hard. Living is sometimes hard, but we just keep going. So
Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful way to summarize our conversation today.
Yes.
Keep going. We got your back. We got your hearts. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for spending this time with me, Lindsay, and for this amazing conversation. I look forward to having you back for another one because I think we could probably keep going on this.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Susan, and thank you to
My
everyone listening.
my pleasure, my pleasure. And so we're going to close out now. And what I always close out our conversation here at Health University is class dismissed. Hey, thanks for joining us today here at Health University. If you want more episodes like this at Health University, you can find them wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss an episode. If you have any thoughts or questions, please drop a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you at our next episode of Health University. But for now, class dismissed.